Hello folks, welcome to our channel, Phyniks Media. In this video we gonna recap a romantic comedy movie called Just Like Heaven, released in 2005. Let's begin. Elizabeth Masterson, an emergency room physician in San Francisco whose work is everything. While on her way to a blind date at her sister's house, she is in a car accident. 3 months later, landscape architect David Abbott, needing a fresh start after his wife's death. But God has some other plans for him. And he takes a sublet on Elizabeth's apartment. Elizabeth begins to appear in the apartment, and both are confused. She thinks he's a squatter, and he thinks she broke in. While they are conversing, she vanishes and scares him again while he is in front of the mirror. They soon realize she moves through walls and objects. Elizabeth doesn't know who she is, and insists she's not dead. David unsuccessfully tries to have her spirit exorcised. David enlists the help of a psychic bookstore clerk, Daryl, who says Elizabeth isn't really dead. He also tells David he's clearly got a blocked heart, and needs to let go of the woman who was previously in his life. When Elizabeth says David should get over being dumped, he storms out, and Daryl tells Elizabeth to not disrespect the dead. She finds David and he explains about his wife. As only David can see and hear her, others think he is hallucinating and talking to himself. Elizabeth asks him to help her discover who she really is. David talks to her neighbors, but they didn't know her. Checking a restaurant, she recognizes a man has a medical emergency, so Elizabeth helps David save his life. Suddenly, she remembers being a doctor, and they go to the nearest hospital, where it all comes flooding back. Dr. Fran, her mentor, takes him to Elizabeth, who is in a coma. When David touches her hand, Elizabeth feels it, meaning she's still connected to her body. Elizabeth's sister Abby arrives, and Dr. Brett notifies her that Elizabeth has signed a DNR order. He asks Abby to sign off on disconnecting life support, and she says she'll consider it. David and Elizabeth bond. When he takes her to a beautiful landscaped garden he designed, she tells him she senses she has been there before. In fact, she was dreaming of the garden in the opening scenes of the film, while catnapping during a long shift. When David's told he's been offered a long-term lease, he realizes Elizabeth will be taken off life support. He tries to prevent it by going to Abby's to tell her that Elizabeth is communicating with him. David begs Abby to keep her alive, but she has already signed the papers, with life support ending the next day. As a last-ditch effort, David blurts out Abby's secret from her wedding day, freaking her out, so she drives him out of her house. Elizabeth opts to spend her last night with David in the apartment.
Lizzie, when we first met, I kept saying that you were dead, but it was me that was dead, and you brought me back. You saved me. And now it's my turn to save you.
How?
I'm gonna steal your body.
The next morning, he is determined to prevent her death by stealing her body from the hospital. He enlists his friend/therapist Jack to help. It turns out Jack is Abby's former college boyfriend, and the two had set up David and Elizabeth for the blind date with Elizabeth for the night of the accident. David can see Elizabeth because they were meant to meet. He admits to Jack and Elizabeth that he loves her. Security guards catch them trying to steal Elizabeth's body. As they pull Jack away from her, her breathing tube comes off. Elizabeth is now dying, and David frantically kisses her body, while her spirit fades away. Her heartbeat returns and she awakens from the coma. Elizabeth recognizes Abby, but not David. He tries to touch her, but she won't let him touch, and he sadly leaves. He feels lonely without Elizabeth. Sometime later, Elizabeth moves back into her apartment. Drawn to the roof, she finds David, who has transformed it into a landscaped garden. He reveals he'd gotten in using the spare key her spirit had shown him. When she asks for her key back,
How do I know you?
Maybe from your dreams.
Their hands touch. Her memory of the events during her coma are restored,
It wasn't a dream.
and they kiss happily. The end. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more movie recaps, and thanks for watching.